Hello and welcome to Sideways. Have you ever enjoyed or perhaps even spread information about someone that wasn't necessarily true? We've all done it, either to feel connected to the group or perhaps because we've taken against someone for some reason. But the practice of gossiping, whilst often enjoyable in the moment, does nothing for either us or the object of our malicious chat. And in a packed show this week, we also managed to cram in some thoughts about royal headgear, the strange impact of foreign accent syndrome, the flammability of dressing gowns, and a rather unappealing use for pineapple rings. And if that weren't enough, Martin tells a parable, a first for Sideways as far as I can remember. Gossip.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. You just shuffled your papers there like a newsreader.
I did. Well, I was actually
like Angela Rippon.
You probably just noticed that I was a couple of minutes late, so I was making some last-minute alterations to my notes, which I like to do right up to the last moment to try and make it a bit more relevant. Was there new information incoming then? Not really. No, I just wanted to make little notes to try and make it flow a little bit better. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel butterflies before a performance?
I used to actually before we used to record. I used to get a bit anxious. It doesn't worry me anymore. I've got very used to it, which I'm sure you have too.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
No, we'll probably get sloppy.
Yeah. What do you mean get sloppy?
Yeah, we've embraced sloppiness for
I don't know if anyone would notice if we got sloppy, would they?
Anyway, gossip.
Yeah.
That's the heading. That's the heading of my notes.
That's good. You're going to have to do the heavy lifting on this one because, of course, gossip isn't a mental health condition.
But it was your idea. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what caused you to think about gossip as an idea for an episode. I don't know if you'd been talking maliciously about someone or someone been talking maliciously about you.
No, I hadn't. I'll tell you what brought this up. It was that awful case with that poor woman who went missing in Lancashire and was then found 2 weeks later dead in the river.
Oh, yeah.
And I, there was a lot of stuff, wasn't there, around how people were, there was a lot of rumours and people were talking about stuff. And it just made me think about how gossip, I mean, obviously not in a context as serious as that, but it's so destructive. It's that, it's like there's nothing good about it. So I thought, that sounds like something that'd be worth investigating. And the fact that the consequence of it is quite often destructive, both to our own and other people's mental health. So that's why I thought about it, really. Yeah,
no, it fits in quite well. It's a good subject because it's certainly one of our boundaries that we read out at the start of our groups.
Oh, there we are then.
Yeah, and so it does fit in reasonably well. We introduced that boundary. It wasn't there initially, but we introduced it fairly early on because there were some issues that started to arise, and it's pretty much the bedrock of the recovery community, really, because if you don't adhere to the non-gossip rule, it tramples on the anonymity ethos,
right?
The whole thing. So it is important.
Now, I suppose that it's at a fundamental level. It goes against the anonymity, but there are more kind of nuanced impacts of it, aren't there? When you talk shit about someone.
Yes, yeah, there are ramifications, as you say. Both
you
ways.
don't have to be outing someone as an addict. You can talk within the group, can't you? But if you're talking negatively about someone, then it has an impact both on the dynamic of the group and of the people who are being spoken about.
It does, and we try and create a platform where people are happy to explore some quite intimate details, and we don't want that repeated on. So it's a safety issue as well, emotional safety,
which is important, isn't it?
Which is very important. Yeah.
Anyway, I think the other reason I wanted to do gossip was because when I was thinking about gossip, I thought I've got a couple of good examples of gossip.
Good. Well, we'll come on to those in that case then. It's not about hot gossip, is it? The group that used to be on the Kenny Everett video show.
No. Were they a dancing group?
They were.
Pan's People.
They were a bit like Pans. Pans People were on top of the pops, weren't they? Hot gossip were a bit more racy, weren't they? I think Sarah Brightman Remember Sarah
she?
Brightman? She was in, and I think, I might be wrong on this, I think it was Arlene Phillips' first foray into choreography on TV. So
Was it? I never realised you knew so much about television choreography.
Well, you'll be surprised what I've got tucked away.
Yeah, you're obviously a closet Strictly Come Dancing.
I've never really watched that, I must admit, but I know you're a big fan, so I won't knock it.
You say that, but I'm going to spread some gossip that you're a big Craig Revel Horwood fan now.
See how far that goes. See who we can trust.
I haven't really got a strong enough network to spread that around, to be honest. You'd have to, if you tried spreading gossip about me, I think it'd be much more successful.
I see that as a challenge. I'll find something then in that case. Anyway, before we start, and I realised actually when I was just going over my notes earlier on, this is a little bit gossipy actually, so I've got to be careful.
Excellent.
But I also realised that I don't have the person's permission, so I can't mention names.
Right.
It's not bad anyway, but it was quite funny because someone during the week before our last episode, which was on rumination, they'd text me and said, "What's the subject matter this week?" And I'd text back and said, rumination. And there's sort of a couple of awkward interchanges on text then, which didn't make a lot of sense until it turned out that the person had read it as remuneration. So we're going to do an episode on salaries or something like that. So I think, but I was thinking perhaps that's a challenge to try and get remuneration in, try and shoehorn that in somehow.
Well, we could do an episode on remuneration and how we don't get paid anything.
Don't get paid for this. No,
how it's all done purely out of the kindness of our own hearts.
It is.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a story from the USA that reminded me of your brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a man who was undergoing treatment for cancer and he suddenly developed an uncontrollable Irish accent. which was weird enough. But the article went on to say that there was a woman in Texas. She had surgery on her jaw. Yeah. And she ended up with a British accent.
Really?
I mean, I was thinking about that. I mean, what's perceived as a British accent? I mean, it covers.
Well, probably it's sort of, Queen's English. Do
we still say that? I mean, King's English now, is it?
Oh, yeah. I haven't got used to that shift yet. Give it 2 or 3 years. I haven't seen him on any stamps yet. When I start seeing him on stamps and coins, I might accept him. Yeah,
I saw someone with I think it was on social media, they put a picture up of a coin with him on because he's not wearing a crown or anything.
Isn't he? What's he got on a beret?
A bandana. He'd look cool with a bandana, wouldn't he?
It'd be great, actually. That's what he should have done. That would probably have been a good way of connecting with the people if he'd worn a silly hat for for the coins and the stamps. Maybe a beret for the coins and perhaps something like a fedora.
A fedora.
For the stamps.
Yeah, or a fez would have looked good on him.
That's a good idea. Hang on, how did we get onto that?
I don't know. Anyway, the different parts of Britain. Anyway, because the accents and the dialects are such wide ranging, aren't they?
Well, I think when people talk about a British accent, I'd say they mean what is now the King's English.
Yeah,
I reckon that's probably what they mean, rather than a regional accent. I'm just thinking now that when my brother picked up his Yorkshire accent, I know that sometime in his younger years he had a hernia operation.
Oh,
so perhaps that's what it was.
It was a drug that was introduced into the surgery that caused. In fact, there is a. This person that developed this Irish accent was diagnosed with having foreign accent syndrome.
Oh,
so it's a thing. So you can't have a pop at your brother; he's got a syndrome.
Well, no, I'm not having a pop at him. I was just interested into as to how it developed. But it could have been perhaps it was his operation. So if anybody listening is facing a hernia operation in the next couple of weeks, be careful because you might end up sounding like Fred Dibner. And hang on, he was from Lancashire, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah.
No, Geoffrey Boycott,
with a proper Yorkshire accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many dialects, aren't there?
Ah, yeah.
Anyway, subject matter. Should we move on to that?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Shall we do that? I'm going to start with a couple of quotes. I haven't had any of those for a little while.
Gandhi?
They're not Gandhi, and they're not really attributed, but they're two very short ones, because after I've read these two short ones, I want to go on to read out a parable as well. Or
A parable?
Well, a proverb, really, I should
Wow.
say.
That's a first, isn't it?
It is a first, and so it'll take a little while just to read out, but it's relevant to what we're talking about. And you said you wanted me to do the heavy lifting, so you can almost sit back and relax.
No problem with that at all.
You're happy with that?
Yeah, lovely.
The first couple of quotes. Those who are busy discussing your life are probably not happy about theirs.
Yeah, I'm all over that one.
Yeah, and the second one was gossip dies when it hits wise person's ears. Yeah, I like that one.
Who said that one?
Don't know. I quite like that.
I like both of those. They're good.
They are quite. It sums up, and that's about it for the episode, really.
Great. Okay, I'll see you next week.
Laters. But anyway, this old proverb, it relates to a story of a person who repeated gossip, and it was a rumour about a neighbour. And soon the whole community had heard the rumour. Later, the person who spread the gossip learned that the rumour was untrue. That the person was very sorry and went to see an elder in the community who had a reputation for great wisdom to seek advice. The elder told the person, "Go to your home and take a feather pillow outside, rip it open and scatter the feathers, then return to me tomorrow." The person did as the elder had instructed. The next day, the person visited the elder. The elder said, "Go and collect the feathers you scattered yesterday and bring them back to me." The person went home and searched for the feathers, but the wind had carried them all away. The person returned to the elder and said, "I could find none of the feathers I scattered yesterday." "You see," said the elder, "it's easy to scatter the feathers, but impossible to get them back. So it is with gossip. It doesn't take much to spread hurtful words, but once you do, you can never completely undo the damage."
Very good.
Are you asleep?
No, I was listening intently. I mean, it was telegraphed a little bit, wasn't it? You could see where that was going.
You could a little bit, yeah.
But still a very nice little... Although I feel a bit... the neighbour then went back to the elder and was looking for some advice and just was left sort of high and dry. All that actually, they just ended up a pillow down, didn't they?
Yeah, they did really. But it was illustrative, wasn't it? It was
illustrative. It actually reminds me of one of the pieces of gossip that I was thinking about, actually, because it involved a neighbour of ours when we were growing up, and I'm not going to use any names, and the reason for that will become obvious.
Okay.
But do you remember when a parent of one of our neighbours, I don't know if he was accused or actually was found to be stealing women's washing off washing lines?
I think that was. I do remember. It was I think there was a conviction, wasn't there? Yeah,
right.
It was underwear, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Now, this is an illustration of gossip, because then there was gossip that followed on from that, which embellished that story that I heard, which was that he was boiling up said items in water and then drinking the water.
Oh my God. That sounds a bit Chinese whispery to me.
Right. But it's gossip, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't make that up. I heard that. Somebody told me that. I mean, you know what kids are like. Kids are terrible for spreading gossip. And this is part of the problem, because it's not just the feather pillow, is it? It's not just the feathers that were in the pillow. Someone had to load more feathers.
Yeah.
And so by the time that all the feathers have blown to, the ends of the earth, it's not just a pillow full. It's like a flipping lorry load full, because people have built on the story and made it 10 times worse. I think that's part of the awfulness of gossip.
It is. And we're not, yes, I mean, the fact there was a conviction, or that, again, I haven't got any evidence of that, but that was all, apparently it was in the papers. I haven't seen it. So it may be all gossip.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the problems with gossip, which I've got a little list of here. I just wanted to go through. Again, some of them are better than others, really, but if we do get involved in gossip, it sort of feeds our own sense of superiority. Yeah. Because we feel good about ourselves at the expense of others. I think that's quite true, isn't it? I mean, it's quite difficult not to get involved in gossip sometimes, but it's because some people thrive on it. There's magazines that just talk about gossip, don't they?
Yeah, celebrity gossip.
Yeah, but what it also does, and this is particularly prevalent in the recovery community, that it can spread distrust, or it can sow distrust amongst your peers. Mm-hmm. If you're gossiping about someone, then what might you be saying about the person you're just spreading the gossip to? People can start to then not give you information because they feel that it's going to be spread on. It's going to pass on in a bad fashion.
Yeah, yeah. When you think back across your life, can you think of people who you may not have noticed it at the time, but when you reflect on it, you think, "Oh, crikey, that person was always spreading gossip around or talking about everyone."
I do remember that particularly in the workplace, but I also remember someone who was particularly good at not doing it, who would keep counsel,
right?
And they were very well respected because of that particular ability. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, gossip is easily spread, and it can bind people together into little groups, which again is very.
Yeah, but they're bound by negativity, aren't they?
They are. It's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's actually. I don't know if have we ever done an episode on negativity.
I think it's not on its own. No.
Well, because in the workplace, particularly, when you'll have experienced this in the workplace, if you're going through a period where things are going badly, or it's just a tough period, or the business is going through tough times, people tend to bond over moaning about stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, isn't this terrible? Oh, that happened. Oh, that's awful. Thinking that it's going to make them feel better, but actually it makes you feel terrible.
Yeah.
Because all that you do is you're kind of whipping up this frenzy of negativity and dissatisfaction amongst one another.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Where's that end? You're not going to go home at the end of the day and think, "Oh, I feel so much better now. I've moaned all day." So I think it's part of the real danger of gossip is that you think probably it's doing you good, but really it's undermining you.
No, I agree. And I'm thinking certainly in an office environment, the gossip can spread really quickly because you're all together in a close proximity. And I think some people feel that it brings colour to an otherwise dull, grey existence working in an office. But you're right. All it does is it creates an atmosphere that's more unwelcoming than normal. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, sometimes you can spread gossip and it's kind of humorous.
Yes.
But it's at someone else's expense, which is similarly bad. You might be having a laugh about it, so it might actually be making you feel good because you're bonding with someone else about the humour of it. But the person that you're talking about, that's not great for them.
It's not great for them. I think the one that gets spread around very quickly is if two people sort of have a bit of a liaison, a relationship in an office or an affair. That can, as soon as someone gets hold of that bit of knowledge, that goes around really quickly, doesn't it? And again, really destructive for everyone involved.
It does, and that reminds me of the second piece of gossip that I thought about when I was thinking.
Okay, bring it in. Bring it on there.
About exactly that. A couple in the workplace having an affair.
Oh, okay.
But that wasn't enough. The rumour went...
You're laughing already.
I might have to cut this out. The rumour went round that part of their regular practice was that he would put pineapple rings on his penis and she would...
See, I mean, that's the sort of gossip which would go round really quickly, wouldn't it?
It did go round really quickly. And actually, I thought about that quite recently. For some reason, just popped into my head. And if you look at the pineapple rings in a tin, that hole is very, very small in the middle.
It is. I was just thinking, unless you got a catering sized one or something, I don't know. But
I took a little cookie cutter to make the holes a little bit big.
This is just decoration. I don't know.
Anyway, I've got absolutely nothing to substantiate it ever happening. So, but that was an example of something that we all found hugely amusing.
Yeah.
But on reflection, that wasn't really fair about the people that we were talking. Fair to the people that we were talking about.
And it probably wasn't true anyway.
It's an odd thing to do. I mean, how do you decide upon that?
How do you introduce that?
Yeah.
I can't imagine that getting into a little bit of passion. And so, hang on, I'm just going to get a can opener and open this tin of pineapple rings.
How do you bring it up in a relationship? Do you know what I've always wanted to do?
I'm going to stick to pineapple chunks going forward because I can't look at a ring in the same way.
No, you could only balance a pineapple chunk on your penis, couldn't you?
We'll bring it back down to some sort of level of normality.
Okay.
Some of the other problems with gossip. It's one of the points it brings up is in the research, it destroys your integrity. You can't be honest and fair while also being a gossip.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out how that fits in, but I suppose.
Well, actually, I think you've already referenced that. What you said,
Yeah.
what you were saying earlier on was, if you associate somebody with gossip, then you don't trust them, do you?
No, you don't.
And when you see someone who always stonewalls gossip, although they might be seen as a bit of a party pooper, you have more respect for them.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. The next one, it harms your spiritual witness.
I don't know what that means.
No, well, we should care about others and treat them in a manner that honours Jesus. I got that one from a Christian website. And I thought, well, that's good. I'm going to put that in. I didn't really understand it, but
I understand it now in the context, but it's made me laugh because it's sort of come out of nowhere.
It has come out of nowhere.
You're not a great lover of all things religious, are you?
No, but I think I did buy you an inflatable Jesus for Christmas. I mean, that's how you can.
You did.
You can understand what I'm saying, can't you? Really?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
The next point was it harms or ends relationship because gossip is hurtful and destructive. Which again, we sort of covered that really.
Yeah.
And it ruins reputations when you gossip about someone. You're stealing someone else's reputation quite unfairly sometimes as well. Especially
I think that's really that's key, isn't it? Because apart from anything else, apart from it being unjustified and negative, you're not, when you gossip about someone, you're not giving them any right of reply, are you?
No, you're not.
I don't have any opportunity, not that they should need to defend themselves, but no opportunity to, offer a different perspective or to debunk that particular piece of information.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the thing. I mean, it's really passive aggressive gossip.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I remember someone, again, in the work environment I worked with, that deliberately put something out there to see who would gossip it on.
Oh.
Reminded me a little bit about the Wagatha Christie trial that's been going on recently.
Yeah.
Well, not recently, but it finished quite recently. There's been documentaries about it, hasn't there? Obviously, with Wayne Rooney's girlfriend, or a wife, I should say. Colleen, and Jamie Vardy's
Rebecca Vardy.
wife, Rebecca. Obviously, two wives of England footballers who started out as reasonably good friends and ended up through gossip, gossip being passed on to a newspaper of one of them, they've ended up in court over it, which shows you where gossip can take you, and an extremely expensive one as well.
Yeah. I think that's part of the difficulty with gossip, though, is that quite often, I mean, I suppose there are times when it comes back to hurt you, and it does hurt you emotionally, but I think partly one of the reasons that people do gossip is because they think it's low risk.
Yeah.
I can talk rubbish about someone. They're not going to know. They probably won't know that I started this. And so I can do someone down without any consequence. I mean, I think that's one of its most kind of unpleasant characteristics, actually.
It is. There always seems to be consequences when gossip occurs, either for the person they're gossiping about or indeed the person that's spreading the rumours or perpetuating the rumours, because, as we said earlier on, the reputation of that person then starts to become tarnished with their peers.
You can't shake that image of someone, can you, once you've got it? Which is something else, because it shows something about the longevity of gossip.
Well, I always reckon it takes 10 years to build a reputation and 10 seconds to ruin one. Yeah. And if it's being ruined by someone else when they're gossiping, it's outside of your control. That's nasty, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I wanted to move on to ways of avoiding gossip. So if we want to be the better person in all of this, there's only three things that I found. It wasn't an easy one to research this, I must admit. I had to go to all different websites to try and find bits and pieces and cobble it together. As is shown with certainly the one from the Christian website that I got. But, so if you want to avoid gossip, the first one is to determine if what you're saying is gossip. So you've got to be some sort of reference point as to whether it's information or whether it is actually gossip. And if the person you're talking to, as you're telling the gossip to, if they've got any role to play in the problem or the solution, if not, stop. There's no point in spreading on just for the purposes of titillation.
Oh, great word.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It is. Stop it when you hear it. Redirect the conversation or tell the person who is gossiping that you're uncomfortable with the direction of the conversation, which I think you touched on earlier on. Again,
it's tricky though, isn't it?
It is,
particularly if you're someone who feels slightly unsure of your own value, quite often you'll be involved in gossip because you feel as if it kind of keeps you as part of the group.
Yeah.
It takes quite a lot of emotional single-mindedness and strength to say, well, I just don't want to get involved in that. So I think it's kind of worth asking yourself, if you do tend to get involved in gossip and you don't really like it, why is that? Is it because you feel it's easier to just put up with it and be part of the group than it is to push against it and risk being ostracised or rejected?
Yeah, I suppose it's why people feel quite comfortable in going to a priest, for example, in confession. Mm-hmm. And they say, no, it's not going to go any further than that. It will stop at that point, won't it? Or I suppose someone
or a therapist.
Or a therapist, or indeed coming to groups where we're talking about addiction. We know it's not going to go any further.
Exactly. I mean, that in a sense, what we do and what you do in terms of facilitating groups and what I do for a job, we're kind of professional secret keepers.
We are. I mean, we know. Certainly, I've known people that come to groups that you know, and I'm sure you've done therapy on people that I know. But never the twain shall meet. We'll never know that. That's how it should stay. Because
exactly.
those platforms should be sacrosanct.
Yeah, and it's if you treat it with the importance that it deserves, it's a blessing. It feels like a blessing that people will come and they'll tell you stuff. I mean, we talked about this before, but I know stuff about people that probably no one else in their lives knows. You have to treat that with the reverence it deserves.
It is, and I think another higher profile case we've seen that's splashed across the world really was the Harry and Meghan Markle book.
Yeah,
where they're literally exposing gossip or incidents that happened behind closed doors at the Buckingham Palace, and we don't know whether it's true or not. And that's the thing, isn't it? But they got terribly slated for it. I think the weight of opinion was definitely against them, rather than saying, "Well done, good on you for bringing this to our attention."
Yeah, I think that opens up another dimension to this, which is, I mean, obviously I don't know what Harry's justification was for writing that book, but the sense that I get of that whole situation is that he felt so unsupported, so misunderstood, so unheard, that he felt, he's kind of lashed out by telling everyone a truth. Yeah. So that might not have been a very wise thing to do, but there's something it's worth kind of thinking about. Why does someone want to spread all that information? Why does someone want to tell all that? Because I think, often it isn't coming from a place of evil. It's coming from a place of desperation or frustration or not knowing what to do. So I think, it's important to consider where the motivation has come from as well.
In that particular instance, he
lost his mum, didn't he, when he was a child?
He did, and you got to understand that would have been a very unsettling and traumatic incident for the guy. The last point really was to be an advocate and stick up for the person who's being gossiped about. Again, it's quite a difficult one to do, isn't it? But I think we respect people when they do that, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, it is really difficult to do that, because if pushing back against gossip is tough, actually going a step further and not only refusing to listen to the gossip, but defending someone, it really does take some fortitude, doesn't it? It takes some emotional resilience. It's great if you can do it, but I think, a lot of people would find that quite tough.
Yeah, they would. But that's really about it for my notes on that this week. It's I felt it's quite good to do a bit of a light-hearted one, because we've done some quite heavy ones the last few weeks, haven't we?
We have, yeah. They've been big hitters, haven't they?
They have been big hitters. So it's a bit of an antidote to that. And I'm glad you brought up the pineapple rings. We found our level at last. We're going to a gratitude list then, shall we? I think it's probably your turn to go first this week.
Okay. I don't know if I've had this before. There's something in my mind says I might have done, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But if I haven't, I'm surprised I haven't. And it's Wellington boots.
Have you had that before?
I don't think I have, actually.
We've had various bits of footwear, I'm sure we've talked about in the past. Wellington boots.
There's something I've noticed in recent weeks, because we haven't had a lot of rain, but we have had a bit of rain. So the ground is kind of damp. And the places I go to walk the dogs, for some reason, I don't know whether the earth is full of clay or whatever, but it really sticks to my footwear. And there's something very satisfying about cleaning thick mud off the bottom of your Wellingtons when it all comes off in big chunks.
Yeah,
Obviously, it keeps your feet dry, which is quite important too. And it's nice to be able to. I think there's something we kind of never lose from our childhood. When you got Wellingtons on and there's massive muddy puddles or loads of, horrible ground to walk through, it's actually quite satisfying.
Yeah.
You think, this is great. I can walk through here with gay abandon.
It drags you in, doesn't it?
It drags you in, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought this week, guys, I'm very glad I've got a nice pair of Wellingtons, plus the fact that wellies are not like they were when we were kids, which were awful to walk in, really uncomfortable, and you couldn't wait to get them off, and your socks always slid off and ended up in the bottom of the boot. These days, they're very comfortable. They're a very comfortable form of footwear.
Oh, yeah. I've still got that childhood trauma, really, because I don't own a pair. But you're exactly right. The socks slipping out off of your foot as you walked along, but also I remember wearing them to school when we had to wear shorts to school. So the tops of the Wellington boots would chafe against your legs. They'd slap as you walked along. So I never found them a particularly comfortable experience.
Yeah, well, I love my wellies now.
But you like them now? Yeah, we love them. Growing into them, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, well, on my gratitude list, I've got jobs going without a hitch.
Oh,
all right,
nice.
A seamless job, and it happened to me that I had a job I had to complete in 2 days this week. At the end of this week, and there was no remedial work from other tradesmen, which is often the case. You have to go and you have to patch up bits of plaster and do bits. There were none of that. So I went in, and although I didn't stop for lunch, I was able to get it completed within the 2-day period, and there were no hitches. So I walked away and I cleared away my stuff at the end of that. It was a little bathroom I was decorating. I walked away and I thought, yeah, great. There were no issues there. So
That's nice.
I was grateful for that. It doesn't happen. Nice. It doesn't happen often enough. It happens from time to time, but when it does, I'm grateful.
So jobs without a hitch, like when you put my fence up in my garden.
That was full of hitches. There was a few little bright spots in a sea of hitches. Which you deliberately done, but it came back to haunt you when you tried to dig a hole and found.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, I had to plant my apple tree somewhere else in the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, good. No, that's nice. I'm glad your job went without a hitch.
Daysoftheyear.com.
Yeah.
The first one, National Tell a Fairy Tale Day.
Tell a fairy?
Tell a fairy tale day. You can
tell a fairy tale. I thought tell a fairy.
What are you going to tell a fairy?
I don't know. I was going to go down the bottom of the garden and look for some.
Don't believe in them. The fairy tale. It's not a gossipy one though. It's got to be. It's got to be proverbial or like Aesop's fables. You used to love an Aesop fable, didn't you, as a kid?
Yeah. I was just trying to think what my favourite fairy tale is. I don't know if it's a fairy tale exactly. It might be a fable. The magic porridge pot. Do you remember that one?
No.
Oh, where they made some porridge and it just kept on coming over the top of the pot and it all ran through the village, and I can't remember how it ends now.
No.
I mean, it's a great story if you like porridge.
If you like porridge.
Awful if you don't like porridge. I mean, I do like porridge, so it's all right.
I suppose I'm just trying to think really, one of the Aesop's fables, probably the hare and the tortoise.
Yeah.
I liked that as a kid, because there was a lot of moral guidance in. And to think that Aesop, it's old Greek stuff it was about 500 or 600 years BC that these were written down. So there's moral frameworks involved all that time ago, and beautifully illustrated. Yeah.
He had a silly way of spelling his name, though, didn't he?
He did. We got an A and an E at the start.
Aesop.
Yeah, exactly. A bit like hemorrhoid, which we're struggling with last week.
Hemorrhoid. I tell you what, if you asked me to spell that again this week, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, hopefully you never need to again. The second one was National Pistachio Day.
Oh,
you like pistachio?
Now,
I bet you like pistachio ice cream.
Well, it's funny you should say that.
Yeah.
Because up until a few years ago, I would have said if I'd been asked to name my top 3 ice creams, pistachio would have been in it. I don't know why, but it's fallen out of my top 3 now. So I probably would still like pistachio ice cream, but it wouldn't make my top 3 anymore. How do you feel about pistachios?
I quite like them. And I like a pistachio ice cream. I used to like rum and raisin, but
that would always be in my top 3.
For obvious reasons, I don't go down that route anymore. I've had to relegate them.
Yeah, you can't have rum and raisin, or I don't think there are any other alcohol-based ice creams are there. Although I had a really lovely mojito ice cream in Italy once. So you wouldn't be allowed that one either.
No. And I know people freeze vodka and stuff, don't they? Put them in ice cubes and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and watermelons and stuff. You inject it into watermelons, yeah. But I can't think of any. What would be your top 3 ice creams then?
Oh, I don't know. It's got to be a chocolate chippy one, that's for sure.
A chocolate chip?
Chips, yeah.
Oh, okay. What, a mint choc chip or just chocolate chip?
Just, either. They can be the top 2 because I haven't really thought of this through. But I do like a strawberry ice cream, a soft strawberry ice cream,
nice.
like a Mr. Whippy one with a strawberry flavour.
Yeah, I mean, I've surprised myself really because I never would have had vanilla in my top 3, but I reckon it would be in my top 3.
It's got to be there. It's classic.
Everyone's always said that, but I've always thought, no, why would you have vanilla? That's boring. But actually, a good vanilla ice cream is pretty much unbeatable.
With a 99, with a flake in it. That's what you.
The flake. Well, I mean, that I wouldn't. When I'm thinking of vanilla ice cream, I'm thinking good quality vanilla ice cream, not the Mr. Whippy stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
I know this is controversial, but the flake is a bit of a nuisance, I think, in a cornet.
It is controversial because I think you're talking absolute nonsense.
I don't mind a flake. I mean, I can't eat a flake at the moment because I've given up chocolate, cake and biscuits for Lent.
You have, haven't you? Which is very good of you.
But I like a flake, but I don't want it with my ice cream. I'll have it separate. I'll have my ice cream and then I'll have a flake afterwards, or I'll have a flake and then my ice cream. But don't put them together. It's stupid.
Okay.
Just stop it. Good.
I want to go on to this day in music.
Yeah.
And I'll do this in chronological order.
Can you say that again?
Chronological. I struggled, didn't I? 1932.
Oh, blimey. What's this? Lead Belly or someone?
No, Johnny Cash was born. I had to put that in, didn't I? It's been a real...
I mean, that's 3 weeks running.
I think it is, isn't it? Right? Yeah. So I had to put that in. It's 1932 Johnny Cash was born. Same year as my dad. So that's really
nice.
In 1955, it was the first time that 45s outsold 78s.
Really?
Yeah. Do you remember? I'm sure your dad used to have a load of old 78s.
He did have a load of 78s, the ink spots and people like that.
The ink spots.
Yeah.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I still love that track now.
Do you?
Yeah.
I bet your dad liked it.
He loved it. He loved a bit of ink spots. Yeah.
1955. Yes. Yeah, I wasn't born, so...
No, nor I, but that's when 45 started to come into their own.
Yeah. Have you still got any 45s?
Yes, of course, yeah. In alphabetical order, thank you very much.
Oh, shut up. That's just ridiculous. You put your vegetables in alphabetical order in the bloody fridge.
No, you can't buy any of those at the moment. They're all off the shelves, mate, aren't they? The last one was 1997. There was a guy called Ben Raleigh. Now, he was a US songwriter, and he died in a fire in his kitchen after setting fire to his dressing gown whilst cooking, which is tragic. And I shouldn't laugh, but I can imagine that to do that. I mean, what an awful thing to happen to someone.
What was he cooking?
Do you wear a dressing gown when you're doing your cooking?
No, of course not. What was he cooking?
Exactly.
I mean, there must have been an open flame, mustn't there?
There must have been something going on.
So he's kind of turned round to get some ingredients, and these dressing gown has flapped against the gas.
Yeah.
And he's gone up in flame. He probably had one of those, it was probably made of one of those really flammable fabrics.
Yeah.
Like a smoking jacket, or a kimono.
Perhaps that's what it was. Yeah. Because you'd get it off quick, wouldn't you, if it started to burn? I don't like that. It's a bit hot.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I can imagine some materials for dressing gowns or house coats. I bet they go up in seconds.
Probably do. If they stick to your skin as well. Have you got nothing on that?
Oh, that's horrible. Don't go cooking in your dressing gown, for goodness sake.
No, that's the moral of this particular story. But
unless you've got electric.
That's all right, I suppose. Yeah, it'd take a little while to catch fire, to melt your stuff. But he was famous. He was a songwriter, saying he wrote "Tell Laura I Love Her." Remember?
Tell Laura I love her.
He wrote that, and he also wrote "Scooby Doo, Where Are You?" Right? The two songs he's famous for. Yes.
Oh, well, crikey! I bet he made some money off "Scooby Dooby Doo, Where Are You?"
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we used to sing that a lot as kids, didn't we?
Yeah,
that's about it. I've had a bit of a laugh today, so I needed that.
That's good. We would have got away with it if it hadn't been for you pesky kids.
Well, hey.
Right, I'll see you next time.
See you later.
Laters.
Bye.
Bye. Sideways was created by Graham Landy and Martin Pankhurst. If you want to read more about our work or sort through the extensive archive of past episodes, just visit grahamlandywellbeing.co.uk sideways-podcast. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram at Sideways Podcast, and you can email us if you have a question or if there's something you'd like us to cover. But most of all, we want to tell you how grateful we are that you come and listen, and we ask that if you've enjoyed what you've heard, that you spread the word. And we'll see you next week.